Another one. Hopefully 2 times the charm. Episode 9. when this episode goes out and people hear episode 9, they will want to know if we could count.
Yeah.
We can. We just had some technical difficulties.
Some challenges for
Some
the past
challenges
two
in the
episodes.
past 2 weeks, past 2 episodes. So yes, we can count.
Now,
But we
mind you guys, these episodes were in fact completed. They were done, like from start to finish, right? It's just that we encountered the challenges in hindsight after we completed the episode, when we were about to edit and post production to actually release it to you guys.
you know how difficult it is to sit for over an hour in the zone talking about some really insightful things, some really thought-provoking things for us, much more for you guys. And at the end of the episode, when it's time for us to edit, no sound. Or if we do have sound,
Annoying
it's
noise.
a weird, annoying,
constant
sound.
That you don't know where it's coming from. Like you're running through all the checks, all the possible checks physically. Anything we could probably think about is software wise, but other than that, that's beyond our control.
But you know what? At the end of the day, when you're trying to do something different, obstacles will always come in your way.
Of course.
And don't take it as a sign that you should stop. Take it as a sign that you should keep going. Right? Yeah. So, guys, remember, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, put on the notification bell. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so we could better serve you, give you better quality content.
And also, so we could also probably not have these issues.
That too. That too.
You all wouldn't think that we can't count,
Yeah.
And also the but we will be releasing the episodes, right? We'll do them over, right, and still get the content across to you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
At a later date.
So before we start this week's episode, I want to talk about a comment that was left for us. It came from an Amir Mirror on a video that we posted earlier this week. Was earlier this week, yeah. Men aren't leaders anymore. And what he said was, let me go back. Yeah, what he said was that the majority of men throughout history haven't been leaders, let alone good leaders. And I would like to agree and disagree. I would agree as it relates to politicians, monarchs, yes. Over the years, yeah, I would agree that a lot of them haven't been leaders, let alone good leaders. But one of the things we can't forget is that there are tiers, there are levels to leadership, right? So you would have been referring to the leadership on the political, socio-political level. People that run countries and so on. And it would be true in that regard. But we also have to think of the other levels. like the average man who is the head of his home, taking care of his family, doing right by his neighbors and his community, that is considered a good leader. That should be considered a good leader, right? And we have a lot of those, right? And we've had a lot of those, I should say. The thing is that we're losing those. We already didn't have it in the at the socio-political level, but now we're losing them
on the lower levels.
on the lower levels. And those are the leaders we're really talking about. We're not really talking about the politicians and monarchs and so on. Like,
Hmm.
you know, let their conscience be their guide. But we're talking about the people that we see and talk to and have to live with every day. Those are the people that I'm referring to.
Yeah, and even the people, well, those same people that we take for granted,
Mhm.
because we might look at them as leaders,
Yeah.
because you're seeing them every day.
Yeah.
It's just a ongoing thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to put that out there because we would have responded to another comment earlier in the week, but I didn't want to respond to that comment in the comment section because it's a it's a comment that required a longer answer. I didn't want to type it. I wanted to actually put it out there.
And discuss it.
Yeah, and discuss it. So, yep.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So, once we've done that, that's out of the way. Let's move on to
The
this week's
topic
episode.
today.
Yeah. And this
I,
week's episode,
I hope this thing working. I hope all our audio working, and
fingers crossed.
yes. Fingers, toes, and eyes.
Fingers, toes, and eyes crossed. All right. So, this week's episode is responsibility.
So, what is responsibility?
Hmm.
I will start again. Oxford's definition of responsibility, right, is the state or fact of having a duty to deal with something or of having control over someone. Second one is the state or fact of being accountable or to blame for something.
That's Oxford.
That's Oxford.
All right. Here's Miriam. Miriam says the quality or state. Wow, Miriam, that was really smart. The quality of or state of being responsible.
What the Miriam?
I don't know. Miriam, go Miriam, you're drunk. Something for which one is responsible.
Wow.
Thanks a lot, Miriam. That was really, really helpful. That was really helpful, Miriam.
So, according to Miriam, the state of responsibility is the state of being responsible.
Exactly. Yes.
Nice.
That was really helpful. I feel so much more enlightened now.
Classic Miriam.
Anyway.
Yes. So, I actually like Oxford's second definition, which is the state or fact of being accountable or to blame for something. Not really the blame part, but the accountability part. Right? So, what I think responsibility is, right? I think that responsibility is so much things, especially in today's society, right? It is key for, again, well, it's synonymous with accountability, right, as Oxford stated. And even before reading the definition, I always used to have those words accountability and responsibility coined together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand, and responsibility we see these days as something that a lot of people tend to run from, right? And I'm sure you guys could attest to that as well. And I'll just give a brief example whereby somebody may act a particular way, do something, um, and not own up to their own actions, or even lie about what they did, you know. And a typical example of that is the 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 thing that people like to use, oh, um, that's just the way I am. And I'm sure plenty of you all could probably experience that. Somebody close to you all or around you all saying that very same thing. And according to, to the meme, no, Susan, that is just that's just you running away from responsibility. You know, that wasn't the meme exactly. I mean, it was. I didn't want to say exactly what it was, but essentially that's it. You know, um, and for us men, right, in today's society, we could see so many. I would say there seems to be a prevalence of more bad examples than good ones. At least that is the focus,
Mm.
you know, because there are a lot of women and even children, right, that tend to say, well, my father was never around, you know, my father didn't want to take any part in raising me, he was absent. And then for the lucky ones, right, quote unquote, um, they may show up later on in your life when things are not as hard or not as bad, you know, or when things seem to be a little more settled and a little more successful for the person, you know. But by that time, obviously, it's already too late, you know. So, responsibility, like, there's so many different, again, levels to it, and again, we as men on a smaller scale, right, need to take responsibility for the very minute actions, thoughts, words on a daily basis as we move throughout the day, and again, just maybe speeding ahead a little bit here, um, that that could, well, also tying in with um, what we mentioned in some of the past episodes, that could actually make your life a lot easier, without actually having to go through a set of pain and um, guilt. You know, it
Mm.
ties in with being honest,
Mhm.
right? And yeah, I'll stop there for now.
Yeah, all good points. Um, I want to also touch on what you said about um, women and children, speaking about their father not being around. Before I get into that, I want to mention the responsibility, like you said, is interchangeable with accountability. And who are you accountable to? Well, there are different levels. You are accountable, firstly, to yourself, right? You are accountable to yourself. If you're doing things to your body and to your mind, don't blow it off as just, um, well, like you said, this is how I am, and I'm just enjoying myself. No, you're destroying yourself. When you've done what you've done, you go home and you feel bad. So you're not enjoying yourself. If you were enjoying yourself, when you go home, you would still feel happy. You would still be okay with the actions you would have taken. But you don't. You feel bad.
Mm.
So then you weren't enjoying yourself. Then that isn't how you really are. Right? That's the first thing. Secondly, you supposed to be accountable to certain individuals in your life. Right? If you consider somebody your best friend or your brother or your sister, then you're supposed to be accountable to those people. Because it's not just you're not just living life just for living life's sake.
Correct.
There's supposed to be some thing you're working toward. Like, what are you working toward? Like, just living life. Like, okay, I woke up this morning, going to work, I come back home. That's it. For 50, 60 years.
Mm.
Like, there has to be some purpose behind your life. That's where the accountability comes in. Right? If you are accountable to someone, the people that you have around, again, the episode that, well, I think, no, Tribe came out well, right?
Yeah,
Tribe came
try
out
to
good.
go. All right.
Okay, so right, good. Thank God, one came out good. So then, Tribe, the people that you have in your life should be pushing you to be better, right? They expect more of you, and because they expect more of you, you're supposed to be, or you should be, accountable to them.
Mm.
So at the end of it all, you shouldn't be hiding from your responsibilities. You're also accountable. If you have them, you're accountable to your children. You're supposed to be there supporting your children. If you're not, then why did you have children?
Yeah.
I'm not saying things don't happen. Things happen, but it's not the child's fault.
Right.
The child didn't send you where he or she sent you
Mm.
for them to get here. So they're here now. Stop running. Stop hiding. And that's men and women, because some women run
Yeah.
away from the responsibility.
Yep.
Right? I am not talking about the circumstances where, unfortunately, a woman has been taken advantage of. I'm not talking about those situations. So please do not come in our comments and tell us about those. I'm not talking about those because they are unfortunate and I empathize with you. However, I'm talking about the ones that uh, you went to some event, or you went to a bar, or you went out and you met someone and you all hit it off and
Mhm.
you all did things on the first day that you shouldn't be doing, even though society says it's okay to do. But what does society know? It's going to hell in a handbasket. But anyway, they say it's fine to do, and you went and you do it, and now you find out that you're going to be a dad or you're going to be a mom, and most of the times these days, the dad runs out,
Right.
right? No one put a gun to your head, my brother. No one put a gun to your head. You made your decision. there was a consequence for your decision,
Mhm.
you need to take responsibility for your action. A new life is coming into this world because of your actions, and you have to take responsibility for it. If you do not, then you could not be considered a man, because men are responsible. Men take care of their own. It's that simple. I don't know how else I could say it. It's that simple. Ladies, if you know you don't want to have a child by someone that you barely even know, or someone you know is bad for you know,
Oh gosh, that's a whole different topic,
right?
right?
You know he bad for you. You know he's no good for you,
That's
right?
bad for your health.
And you still go. You get pregnant. And now you're having a baby by someone who doesn't even care about you, firstly. And then, well, if they don't care about you, the chances are they don't care about the child either.
Yeah. Every action and decision has a consequence.
It's that simple. And no, you can't change any man. I've been here. I've heard so many girls saying, "Oh, I can change him." The only thing you could change is your clothes. That's it. You ain't gonna change any man. If a man,
What about the mind?
no, you can't. Who could change the man? Oh yeah, yeah. That's, a, that's a controversial statement, man.
I
But that's
know,
true.
I know,
It's
I
true.
know.
Change your clothes, change your mind. But you can't change no man. It's that simple.
Can't change anybody
You
else.
can't change anyone else.
Yeah.
That person has to change if they will change if they want to change. You can't change them. It's that simple. If let me let you in on something. If a man wants to marry you, he would know that within the first 6 months. Right? Well, if he knows what to look for. If he knows what to look for, he'll know if he wants to be with you within the first 6 months. If he just enjoys your company, he'll be around. But that's the most he'll be around.
Boy, so many people experiencing that. So many women, so many of our sisters experiencing that.
Of course. But listen, don't worry, guys. The episode on relationships coming up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just hang tight.
hang tight. But back to responsibility. Right?
We gotta talk about easy. We gotta do it in such a way. You gotta lay it down
Yeah, we
first,
have.
and then
Yeah. We have to put it in context. Because if we just talk about responsibility, then they would just okay responsibility. But if we put it in a context, they could understand things that they would have experienced. Then it'd be easier to understand.
right,
Right.
yeah. And then also the lazy foundation for the next
Right.
step.
Yeah. Another thing. Ladies, if you're interested in a man and at first try the man isn't interested in you, don't pursue it. Please don't pursue it. Because there's a consequence to that action.
Um,
You want to let them know the consequence? I think you should let them know the consequence.
me?
Yes, you. Okay, well, Nick don't want to let you know the consequence, so I guess I'll have to do it. If you chase a man, men don't like to be chased, right? Men are still very much hunters by nature. If you meet a man who is very sure of himself and knows exactly what he wants, and you pursue him and he's not interested at first, do not continue the pursuit because he will use you for one thing. And we know what that one thing is. I don't have to go into detail. But a man who is sure of himself, he knows exactly what he wants in a woman. If he sees you and there's no initial interest, do not pursue it.
Mhm.
That's simple.
And I just want to throw in my 2 cents.
Should I mean that? You're supposed to trade the whole dollar and you back out.
Yeah, I just want to throw in 2 cents. So I know this is another controversial statement, but we see a lot of ladies, right? And this is also going to be part of the upcoming relationship episodes that we're going to have as well.
Beginning next week.
Right. um, that same ladies pursuing men. There's a uprising, I'd like to say, of ladies who are aggressive
Yeah.
in the pursuit.
Yes.
So it's not just like they're pursuing men, but
They pursuing men like men.
yeah, it's like it's like yeah,
Yeah. They pursuing men like men.
men. Yeah,
Again, not going to work
Hmm.
because men don't like to be pursued by
correct,
men. Right?
correct.
It's that simple.
And well, there are other things on the flip side as well, which
Yeah.
we'll also touch on.
Like men don't like manly women.
Hmm.
We like feminine women. We like feminine women. It's that simple.
Yeah, responsibility is a hell of a thing, hell of a thing. But again, the essence of it is coming back down to the simple things on a daily basis. Taking again as I would have mentioned, um, responsibility and accountability for your actions, your thoughts, your words. Just starting with those
Yeah, now you
things.
have to be accountable. You have to be accountable. Guys, you can't complain about where you are in life and not doing anything about it.
Hmm. Yeah,
Right? The name of this podcast is Legacy of the King for a reason. You can't call yourself a king and you're not doing anything to work it toward that.
yeah,
Right? You can't say that you want a quote unquote queen and you're not doing anything to get to that point. Like
yeah.
you want a queen, but you nowhere near being a king.
Correct, correct.
Uh,
And vice
you're
versa.
nowhere near to building a kingdom. So how you could call yourself a king? A king of what?
Hmm. Hmm.
Right?
That famous. saying that a lot of people like to use these is what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, what are you bringing to the table? But also, like, are you moving at all?
Hmm.
You're not moving. You're not doing anything. So you can't complain. Oh, these guys, these guys getting all the girls,
Hmm.
and and they only getting them because they have money. And okay,
What are you doing about
what are
yourself?
you doing about yourself? There's not all women pursue guys with money. Eh? A lot of women pursue guys with ambition too. They don't have to be driving a Lamborghini or living in Hollywood Hills or in Trinidad and Westmorelands, but have some ambition and be doing something with it. Like if you have goals, actually be working toward the goals. You know, you can't be miserable, feeling bad about yourself, feeling bad about your life, but you're not doing anything at all to improve your life. You're not accountable to yourself, like I would have mentioned. You should be in the at the beginning of the episode.
Hmm.
You need to be accountable to yourself
First,
first.
yeah,
You can't complain about how bad everything is, but you're not doing anything. You're not even sitting down and saying, okay, um, what skills do I have? I don't have any skills. Okay, I need to get skills. Okay, I have this skill now. How could I use this skill to make more money? How could I use this skill to to network? How could I use this skill to develop influence? Are you doing any of those things? No. Okay, then you can't complain. You shouldn't complain. You have no reason to complain.
we see we see so many so many people actually these days doing exactly that. They making a certain noise, complaining about this, complaining about that, have something to say. And I would have mentioned it very early in the earlier episodes where people just feel the need to say something because they have something to say,
Hmm.
you know. And again, it shows like so many people always just criticizing. And now, don't get me wrong, that criticism is good, but they again within context.
Hmm.
You can't just be complaining about everything that's happening around you and not doing anything. Firstly, again, as we mentioned, for yourself and for your community around you to grow or
Yeah,
to become better.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's not about not criticizing.
Yeah,
If you're criticizing with the intention for growth,
correct.
for progress. Don't criticize just because you don't like what somebody's doing
Mhm.
or what they would have said offended you. If you live life expecting no one to offend you, well, then don't live because everyone is at some point is going to offend you. It's that simple.
Yeah.
We get offended every day. Like somebody offends us every. Is how you react to it, how you respond to it.
Yeah. So I could just mention what the title of last week's episode was supposed to be
Sure.
that we're gonna do
Sure.
about. So last week's episode, guys, was supposed to be on discipline, right? Which would have led into this week's episode, right? And that's a good place to start with regards to exactly what we're talking about with responsibility. So having the discipline to again okay, we offended on a daily basis, right? But having the discipline not to let it control or affect you.
But I should also add, you don't get offended by what people do or say when you're on a mission,
Right.
when you have a goal in mind. That's an easy um, shield against being offended.
Mhm.
Very simple shield. Be working towards something, and when someone criticizes you, it's like, I have shit to do. I don't have
I
time to
don't.
be
Yep.
offended.
I was just gonna say
And
the
we
same
really
thing.
don't have time to be offended, to be honest.
Mhm.
I think yesterday was the first or one of the few days where I absolutely did nothing. I just wanted to rest yesterday. We always working. We always doing something. We have our 9 to 5s,
Right.
and then we have our 5 to 9s.
Right.
Right? Is don't think that growth is easy. Don't think that progress is easy. Men, you want the so-called quote unquote woman of your dreams, then you wouldn't find her with your ass on the couch
Or in a bar
or in a bar
or a party.
or a party. Yes, the some people are very fortunate.
Well, there's
Some people very,
exceptions.
very,
Very few
very, very,
exceptions.
very rare exceptions to the rule. But generally, you are not going to find the woman or man of your dreams in a party or a bar. Uh, Depending on what it is you're dreaming about.
Right.
I should say that.
Yeah. I was
Depending on what it is you're dreaming about.
But yeah. So back to that point that you made just now about the 5 to 9s and 9 to 5s, right? We also have, as you mentioned before, a responsibility on a personal level.
Mhm.
So in a scenario like that, we have a responsibility to take time for ourselves, as we would have done yesterday, to relax,
Mhm.
because health is not just physical.
No.
Again, it's mental as well. And guys, this month is Men's Mental Health Month.
Very true. And this week, no, this month is Men's Health Month, and this week is
Oh,
Men's Mental Health Month.
right.
Mental Health
Okay.
Week. Right?
So general health.
General health for this month,
Okay.
but this week is Men's Mental Health Week.
Okay.
Right?
And guys, I'm pretty sure a lot of you may not have known that because
No.
we only found out recently, like
This
on.
week.
So, which is the middle of the month.
So, guys, don't worry. Next year we'll be definitely doing some events for Men's Health Month and Men's Mental Health Week. Right? So look out for that because we ain't stopping. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna make sure that we put out content. We're gonna make sure that we introduce services for to help out the guys and for the ladies that need it. We're gonna be working really hard for the next few months. Right? We're not gonna stop. Yeah. So yeah, back to the discipline that you would have mentioned. I think the discipline comes after the accountability. Because part of the accountability or the responsibility is in accepting where you are
Mm.
and being true to yourself about where you are without defense.
Defense. Yeah.
Don't be like you'd be on the couch and you might be binge watching Stranger Things, right? Stranger Things is like the show now. I've never seen it, but I
Neither
know
have I.
I know Stranger Things is the show now. So you will have been sitting on the couch binge watching season 4 of Stranger Things, and you finish watch it, and then you binge watch another show. But then you would go out and you'd see someone you may have gone to school with, or you may know, or you may know from just seeing, and that person has it quote on may look like they have it all the way put together, and they look like they have money, and they have the nice either have the nice girl, or they have a lot of girls around them, and they seem so confident, and everything is well put together, and you envious of them. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time, and you're wasting your energy,
Mm.
because your first step after you see that person is like, wow. Instead of saying, oh, he thinks he's all that. Instead of saying that, you should say, wow, I really need to get my stuff together. That's the first step, acceptance. That's the first piece of responsibility. Acceptance that you're not where you're supposed to be.
Mm.
You are not where you're supposed to be. That's the first step. Okay, where do I want to be? I want to be here, here, and here. Okay, then a roadmap needs to be created for you to get to here, here, and here. And then the discipline to follow that roadmap. Yes, there will be detours. Yes, there will be bumps in the road. Yes, there will be potholes. Yes, your tire's going to get flat. But at least you have a roadmap, and you're trying to be as disciplined as possible. But if there's no roadmap, there's no discipline to create a roadmap. There's no discipline to accept that you need a roadmap. And all you're doing is just being envious and jealous of someone who you don't even know how they got the things that they got
Yep. And what they went through.
and what they went through. You don't know, you have no idea, but you're jealous and you're envious. There are people that we went to school with that had everything together since they were like 21.
Mm.
It's not their fault that we're not where we want to be. It's only ours. And we accepted that. And we're doing something about it. That's where every boy needs to be. That's that's where you begin the journey to manhood. Responsibility, firstly, to yourself. Then there has to be some level of responsibility, accountability to somebody that you consider important in your life, that
Right.
wants to see the best for you. Your tribe. The members of that tribe could be girlfriend, wife.
Family
If you
members,
don't have
brothers.
girlfriend or wife, family members, close friends
Mm.
that honestly want the best for you, have to be accountable to them. They have to see that you're taking responsibility for your life, and that
And
you are
guys,
accountable to them.
guys, if you have not seen our tribe episode, now would be a good time to check it out. Right? We explain what tribe is and how it could save your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tribe can save your life. Yeah, so go check that out, guys. Go check that out. So yeah, so firstly, to yourself, then to your tribe. And then if you get that far, even if it's back to front, you have to be responsible for your children. If you got the children before you got the roadmap or before you got the tribe, you have to be responsible for them. You have to be accountable to them because you gave them life.
Yep. And they are your legacy.
They are your legacy.
They are your future generation.
They are the future of the society.
Mhm.
And they are going to become whatever you feed them. If you don't feed them anything, then they're not going to be anything. If you feed them junk, then they're going to be junk. If you feed them valuable things, if you feed them high quality things, knowledge, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about valuable, useful information, teaching them manners, teaching them integrity, teaching them how to think for themselves, teaching them how to speak their mind respectfully,
To be honest.
teaching them how to be honest, uh, teaching them how to control their emotions,
Mhm.
teaching them how to interact with people, teaching them how to read people. All of these things are valuable skills, teaching them how to deal with conflict. All of these things are valuable skills that they need that they're not being given because no one is being responsible. Everyone is focused on partying and traveling,
And how
but
I could have a good
and
time.
how
And
they can have a good time,
Mhm.
but the child is at home. If you're traveling and you carry your kids, good. Why? Because they're learning about the world that they live in. They learn about different cultures. That would put them in really good stead.
I just wanna just touch on that same point before you move on, bro. And it's not just about your attitude to that same traveling with your children. Says a lot too, and it can greatly affect the child. All right. So don't take the child because you are no babysitter or thing, and it's like I know nobody else, so I gotta go with the child and thing, and you know, no, no, you
Yeah,
know,
you have to readily want to carry a child.
yeah.
Like I look at people in other countries. I look at people in other communities right here because I've lived here and I've lived in the US. People in other communities in Trinidad and people in certain areas in other countries, they have no problem with either carrying their children on vacations to other countries or they have no problem giving them money to travel through Europe for a year to learn about different cultures. If you don't have the means, okay, fine, I understand. But if you're saving money for 3 years so that you could just go on a trip with your girls or with your guys and you leave the children home, then you had children for the wrong reasons. I'm not saying you don't do things to enjoy yourself, but your mother, your father now.
Remember your responsibility.
they are your responsibility.
First, yeah.
First,
Now,
don't use the tablet to get away from your children
mhm,
because there are dire consequences to that action.
correct. Tablet raising your child.
You're letting TikTok raise your child. You're letting YouTube raise your child.
Yeah. I go good.
Trust me, you don't want to do that.
Have a party to go to. Here, hold this. Thing. Right.
Five
All right.
hours, 5 hours of Peppa Pig.
Hmm. And games,
And
whichever games going on.
no, if you knew you didn't want, if you knew you didn't want children, you shouldn't have done the deed to have them. Especially if you've done it with someone that you know wasn't good for you. And I'm talking to men and women. I'm not talking to just women. I'm talking to men and women. You know they weren't good for you, but you still went. And now you're your father, or your mother, and you're co-parenting with someone who's giving you a hard time.
Hell.
Hell, responsibility doesn't only come when the consequences of an action comes. It also is there before you even take the action.
Hmm.
Being able to analyze the situation and say, you know what, I shouldn't do that because I don't want the consequences that the possible consequences that comes with that action that I may decide to take. I just thinking about the amount of people that have not thought about the action that they would have taken and like before they actually take it.
I mean, those who have fallen prey to having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it feels good.
Hmm.
And because they can.
Yeah. And guys will feel that we're talking down to you because I've made poor decisions in my life too. I was fortunate that it didn't end in me being a father. Don't get me wrong, I want to be a father. I would love to have children someday, but I want to have children with someone that I choose to be with for the long term.
Mhm.
Right? I don't want to have children with a fling I had at a party. You know, it's already happened. Okay, yes, but make sure and take responsibility, please. But if I have the choice, I prefer not to do that. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not condemning anyone who have gone through that. I'm just saying that if you look at it in hindsight, you would have made a different decision.
Correct.
Right? We can't let alcohol and music and a nice time and someone in skimpy clothes or someone with a shirt off cloud our judgment. It's that simple, right?
And again, I am in the same boat, bro. Like we've been through things. We've gone through
Yeah,
emotions. That's why we could talk about these things, guys. It's not like, we just talking what about us, So yeah, you wanna be intentional.
we're gonna talk about that intentional thing in the coming episodes.
You wanna be
But
intentional.
you want to be intentional about your life.
You don't wanna be, and it's same thing with me. I don't wanna be with somebody who is not quote unquote the right person.
Yeah,
You know, because that'll just make your life miserable.
Yeah. And we'll talk about how to be intentional again in the coming episodes, right? We'll and these things that we're gonna talk about, again, it didn't come from a book, it didn't come from a lecture, it came from messing up,
Experience.
experience, and figuring out what not to do.
Yeah. And when we mention experience, from our experience and from observation of other
Of
people's
other people's
experiences.
experiences. Essentially, it's kind of like the scientific method, you know.
Mhm.
You make a particular hypothesis, you test it, it either agrees with the hypothesis, it either proves the hypothesis or it disproves the hypothesis. And yeah, we've tested it in our own lives and we've observed other people's experience testing.
And trust me, guys, we're still observing,
And
eh?
we're still
We're still
observing. We're
observing. Like,
still observing.
there's so many examples.
Yeah. So it's gotten to a point where we could almost see the consequence of an action before it happens. I've done it many times. I've done it so many times it's almost frightening. But
It's true. Very true.
but yeah, yeah, you have to be intentional about your life. And we'll talk about that in the coming episodes. Yeah.
So, responsibility is a state of being responsible.
Yes, the state of being responsible. Thanks a lot, Miriam. Thanks a lot. Right. So, bro, I think this one is going to be really short today. You know, I don't think we're gonna go into um, past an hour and
Yeah.
things like that. It's simple. Like how much we could talk about responsibility. Like we kind of covered most of what responsibility is and how and where we should be responsible.
Mhm.
Right. So yeah, I think we could wrap it up.
Oh, let's give them a little thing about next week.
Yeah. Right. So um well, you guys will be seeing this on Monday. So this week, this week's coming episode is actually going to be a live. So we're looking forward to seeing as many of you on the live as possible. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Right? We're going to be running it through YouTube and Facebook and Instagram live on our personal pages.
Yes. And for
Right?
our international audience, 4 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time.
Yeah, 4 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. So if you are in LA, that would be, I think it would be at 1 p.m. or 12 p.m.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Pacific Standard Time, I think,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. Right? So yeah, next week is gonna be fun, right? We're not going to say too much, but we have a guest next week.
Yes. Our first, very first
Our very
guest.
first guest, and what a first guest, right? For those in the Caribbean, a lot of people in the Caribbean know him already. People in Canada know him. Um, he is very, very influential. Young, ambitious, doing really, really well for himself. I'm not gonna say anymore, but we have a really, really good first guest, right? So
Yes.
this is gonna be live. Look at all of our social medias. We're gonna have some promo coming up. So be sure to stay tuned for that and be there next week. Don't miss this episode coming. Be there on Saturday the 25th at 4 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. This is going to be a good episode, a great episode. You want to get any title or not?
Nah.
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 All right. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So, guys, continue to like,
Subscribe
subscribe,
and
share,
share.
leave your comments. Right, we'll do our best to answer them in the comment section. If it isn't, if it's too much for us to answer in the comment section, we'll answer it in an episode. Right. So yeah.
So guys, also based on our analytics, right, we've seen that many of you watching our videos and not subscribed or not liking the videos. So we just like to urge you guys that if you guys actually do enjoy and like our content, to please leave a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel.
And yeah, subscribe so that and put on the notification bell so that you'll get notified when we release new content.
Right.
So
So thanks again, guys, for joining us for yet another
Yep.
episode.
Thanks again.
And we will see you guys next week.
Yeah, live this time.
Live.
Right. Okay, guys. Take care.
Take care.